All right, man, peace. I tell you something, brothers. LeBron James should count himself very fortunate to have a friend on the level of Dwyane Wade. He's an extremely loyal dude, you can tell. There are just certain people who the element or the aspect of loyalty just seems to resonate off of their person. And Dwyane Wade comes off as that type of guy. I believe that that's the reason why it's very rare that you'll ever hear a cross word about him all across the NBA. All of his peers have nothing but good to say about him. And even in the media circles, all the reporters have nothing but good to say about him. Now, of course, we know that he's a pansexual, allegedly. But when it comes to his character and how he conducts himself towards others and how loyal he is, he seems to be exemplary in that facet. Why do I say that? Because as I've told you, brothers, in the past, loyalty is nothing but how closely someone sticks by you when you cannot offer them anything. That's what loyalty is. When they actually have the option to separate themselves from you when you're going through a time period of adversity, or they have the option to choose someone who might be in a more advantageous position than you are, and they still choose you. That's loyalty. And Dwyane Wade is a loyal dude. I have to give him a lot of credit. And I'm not just saying that because of the whole LeBron James situation, even though that's part and parcel of it. And let me also say this. D. Wade does seem to have some plans to become a Hollywood power couple with his homeboy / homegirl Gabrielle Union. So could he still be trying to make sure that he finesses his way into LeBron's good graces and hopes that LeBron may be able to assist him in becoming fully embedded in Hollywood? Sure. But even long before that, D. Wade has shown that he's of the caliber of person who's going to stick by someone who he calls a friend. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
LeBron James, he'll be back as well. His Lakers certainly didn't live up to the expectations. The King won't be in the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. Here's what LeBron's friend and former teammate D. Wade had to say about the Lakers season ending much earlier than expected. LeBron, not a guy that's accustomed to losing and not making the playoffs. Obviously, man, those 18 games that he was out hurt with them, it's kind of a wash. You can't even really talk about him not being in the playoffs because of that.
D-Wade making one of the mama excuses. You know, like if you have a homeboy or a friend who's locked up and his mama always make excuses for why he's locked up. Oh, well, you know, life been hard on him ever since he fell down and bumped his head. That's why he robbed all them people. No, he's just a rude, badass nigga. That's what he is. That's why. Ain't got nothing to do with him bumping his damn head when he was 5 years old. Look at D-Wade. He said you can't even really talk about him not making the playoffs because of that, because he missed 18 games. No, D-Wade, no. The Lakers have been terrible since he came back. He claimed that he was going into activation mode when he came back. They were still in the playoff hunt when he came back. He failed. But I appreciate your loyalty.
They were the 4th seed when he went out. It is unfortunate, Max. The best player in the NBA, all right, I know, debatable, the face of the league.
Look at that. Look at how Max Kellerman just turned on LeBron James. This is the same guy who said that LeBron James is light years ahead of every other player in the NBA just a few months ago. And now he does a double take at Molly Karam where she says that LeBron is the best player in the NBA. Oh, how the tide shifts.
Okay, debatable, but kind of. How bad is this a look for the NBA that we're not going to have LeBron this year in June?
I don't think that it's a bad look at all. Actually, I think that it's a great test for the NBA to see how they're going to move forward because LeBron James is on the back nine in his career. So you want to start building up some of the players who are going to replace him. That's why they're spending so much time trying to push Giannis on the masses so that they become familiar with him. Right now, the league is in, I won't say a conundrum, but they're in a very strange space because 2 of their best young players are not American, that being Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I believe that they're going to have a difficult time trying to figure out how to promote them. Because even though the both of them are extremely talented and have great personalities, they both have a very heavy accent.
This is really bad for the NBA.
Forget June,
Number
April.
one, like here's when we drill down on the details what we see, right? Like, number one, the story that LeBron always had a free pass to the finals in the East, that wasn't going to happen in the West, is true, but we did want to see how he fared against those Western Conference teams.
Right, so that's really not faring well for LeBron, not for the NBA. I think that the NBA will be okay.
Once he got to the playoffs, because we also know that LeBron in the last 4 or 5 years is a totally different player in the postseason than the regular season.
Yeah.
That's true.
He elevates his game. We are not going to get to see that. Maybe we wouldn't have even had they made the playoffs because if he was hurt or whatever, okay?
or they would have been the 7th or 8th seed and gotten blitzkrieged by the 1st or 2nd seed. Because the Lakers were not, especially with the turmoil that they've been going through in their locker room, they were not even going to win a game in the playoffs had they made the playoffs.
Or maybe he's older. But I would have liked to have seen that. It would have been good for basketball to see what LeBron did. Now, others would say, well, he can't even make the playoffs in the West. That tells you what you need to know. Maybe. But I would have liked to see how they did in the playoffs. That's one.
LeBron's on the verge of going into his sideshow phase in his career. I'm going to say it again. LeBron James is on the verge of going into his sideshow phase in his career. Meaning what? He's still going to put up very good numbers, but he's going to become more and more of an afterthought, especially if the Lakers are unable to attain a top-level free agent or make a major trade to bring on a high-level talent like a Bradley Beal or an Anthony Davis.
One. But here's the bigger picture, and you pointed to it.
What?
Who's the biggest star in the NBA? Biggest star in
Right
the NBA?
now?
Yes. No,
I still feel like it's LeBron.
by far.
Yeah.
It's not by far, but yes, LeBron James is still the biggest star in the NBA.
The biggest star?
Yeah.
He has been the star of the playoffs for 8 straight years, all the way to the finals.
Not quite. I will say last year he was the star of the playoffs because of so many spectacular offensive performances that he put forth. But in 2017, Kevin Durant was the star of the playoffs.
Yeah. He's the biggest athlete in the world. Don't tell me some soccer player. LeBron James, at least in the Western Hemisphere.
No, the biggest athlete in the world is one of those soccer players. You can get upset about that if you want.
That people care more about him than anyone else. LeBron, in North America, LeBron James is the star of the show. Imagine if Seinfeld, they didn't have Seinfeld on one season. It would be...
I see where you're going with it, but it's more like if you're watching an ensemble cast in a big-time movie and you were waiting for your favorite actor to appear and he was only in the movie for 10 minutes. You might be upset, but if the movie was good enough, you would let it go. And I think that that's what this year's NBA playoffs is going to be about. As long as we have compelling matchups, great series that are very competitive, people will move past LeBron not appearing in the playoffs.
It'd be kind of not the same. Might still be a good show, but not the same. That's what the NBA playoffs are without LeBron James. They're missing the star of the show. It's okay if someone else could take the crown by force, but let's see it. We're not even going to get to...
We've already seen it. That's number one. Number two, LeBron James no longer has a crown. He calls himself a king in the same way that Kobe Bryant called himself Black Mamba, and eventually the name stuck. For LeBron James, the term king is more of a nickname than an actual moniker.
Get to see it. Of course that's bad for the NBA, Stephen A.
I disagree with you. I don't think it's bad for the NBA at all.
Agreed.
Well, let me take that back. I'm not trying to say that the NBA wouldn't prefer to have LeBron in the playoffs. I mean, my God, he's LeBron James.
Right, but that's not really the question. So there was no real need for you to take that back. Once again, the league has to start moving forward from the LeBron James era, especially since his brand does not really represent winning. He's not truly concerned with winning. He's more concerned with attention. So if you're the NBA, you want to start moving your league forward towards promoting stars that actually are going to win.
Of course we would. What I'm trying to say is that the NBA has blessed us with enough superstars to want to watch on national television, to speculate as to where this league can go once LeBron James fades into the twilight.
Absolutely. That's how the Michael Jordan era was damaging to the league. He was so spectacular, he was so ethereal, that when he just very abruptly left the NBA twice, it left him in a rut. He just up and retires in 1993 or was forced out, whatever theory you prefer. Either way, when he left in 93, it left the NBA in a rut. They were forced to have to suffer through the 93-94 season. And after that season, they tried to move in the three-point line to draw back the viewers because the ratings had dropped off. Jordan comes back, and then he retires again abruptly in 1998, and the ratings drop off the map again because nobody wants to watch the San Antonio Spurs. At least with LeBron James, he's phasing out subtly and very slowly and incrementally. It's not like, oh, wow, what are we going to do now? There are plenty of supplementary superstars in the NBA, so they don't have to be concerned.
It happened with Jordan. It happened with Julius Erving. It happened with a lot of stars. Magic and...
Julius Erving was another great player who just faded out. He didn't just leave abruptly. By the time Dr. J retired in 1987, Jordan was in his third season. That was the season that he averaged 37 points a game. Magic Johnson was the MVP. Larry Bird was coming off of 3 straight MVP awards. The Detroit Pistons were bubbling. They were on the cusp of doing big things. So the league was able to give Dr. J a very good send-off because he was the ambassador of the NBA in a very pivotal era in the league's history. That late 70s, early 80s era, Dr. J carried the banner for the league at a time where it was very difficult for the masses to deal with the NBA becoming the first real quote-unquote black league. Once again, the New York Knicks were mocked as being the New York Knickerbockers. A lot of Caucasian fans were turned off by the NBA because they had become predominantly black so quickly. And due to the fact that Dr. J carried himself with so much class, he was a great ambassador, he was a great borderline dignitary, and acted as an intermediary between the NBA and its fans, while Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came into the league, took the game to the next level, developed it, and made the NBA a national pastime. And then Jordan comes into the league in the mid-'80s. By 87, in Jordan's third year, Dr. J retires. And then by the 1990s, Jordan makes the game global. Once again, right now, the NBA is in a great spot. I think that it's as talented as it's ever been since I've been watching it.
And Bird and Isaiah and all of these guys, there's always somebody else. There is always a successor in the world of professional sports.
Agreed. Absolutely. And the successor that they're building up seems to be Mr. Zion Williamson.
When we look at the Houston Rockets, you're going to try to tell me that James Harden ain't box office? You're going to try to tell me that Steph Curry?
James Harden is not box office. James Harden has a very unattractive style of play. Everyone understands that. Nothing against the brother, but he's a volume shooter. Yes, he averages about 36 points a game, but he's a volume shooter who gets gift calls from the referee. That's why James Harden is not lauded as much as one would think he would be.
Ain't box office? You gonna try to tell me that Kevin Durant can't be box office?
Kevin Durant is super talented, but he does not have the personality to be a leader or an ambassador.
You gonna try to tell me that Giannis ain't box office?
He could be box office, but once again, how is the NBA going to bridge that gap in helping their core audience, the people of America, embrace him and accept him as being considered the new ambassador of the NBA, the new best player in the NBA, and he's a foreigner? This has never happened before. Now, there were a couple of years where Hakeem Olajuwon was recognized as being the best player in the NBA while Jordan was gone, but it was kind of more like somebody keeping the seat warm, because Hakeem was very laid back, very chill. He had a thick accent. He was a Muslim. He was by far the best player in the NBA while Jordan was gone, but he was not someone who you could use to sell the product known as the NBA. So that's the real challenge for Adam Silver. Can he and his team build up Giannis and or Joel Embiid to be those guys?
You gonna try to tell me we not interested in seeing what Kawhi and Toronto does?
Really, brother? You said Kawhi Leonard? Kawhi Leonard has not spoken since he was born.
We not interested in seeing whether now Boston's gonna fall come playoff time. We not interested in seeing what Philly's gonna do with Ben Simmons and your man, my man Joel Embiid. We not interested in this stuff. The fact of the matter is this: it would be worse to me if LeBron had went to the playoffs and got bounced out in the first round.
Well, it would have been worse for him. I don't think that it would have been worse for the league. If you were to ask Adam Silver, who would you like to be the 8th seed, the San Antonio Spurs or the LA Lakers? We know how he's going to answer.
Because we would have thought he's in the playoffs, so we would have anticipated that he would go forward. But the fact that we've known in advance that he won't be there, and we've got time to prepare ourselves and percolate for this upcoming postseason, considering how competitive it's expected to be, because there's no foregone conclusion anywhere in the West or the East. I think there's an absolute lot to look forward to, and I think when people ask this question, you got a whole bunch of LeBron lovers out there, including Jamie Foxx, who Instagrammed me complaining about me being reminding LeBron, excuse me, you came to Laker Nation to win a chip, not to make the playoffs. And of course, Jamie Foxx and others want to come to his defense because the apologists always come out everywhere.
Yeah, LeBron James, I tell you, boy, good Lord. That man, if anybody approaches LeBron James, all those celebrities are like the knights that surround the king. We must protect the king. Like, come on, man.
for LeBron James. Okay, and then maybe that's not his fault, but the narratives of that Rich Paul is somewhere. Rich Paul is up there, is up in LA right now, watching and ready to complain about something, because God forbid we say anything about LeBron James. Did you know that, Molly? I mean, don't let me put my tick up there right now.
Well, shit, Stephen A. Smith, if you were Rich Paul, you would get upset if anyone complained about the person that made you a multimillionaire your damn self. I promise you that. So I don't blame Rich Paul for getting upset if someone ridicules LeBron James.
Right now, great father, great husband, great director, great actor, great businessman. I mean, did I leave it? Philanthropist extraordinaire. I can't leave it, because God forbid, Max, we talk basketball and there's a scintilla of criticism about LeBron James. My God, for God forbid that even though he's King James, but he's not a champion, that would happen to be the Golden State Warriors. God forbid I actually point that out. So now we got Jamie Foxworth. I'm waiting for 2 Chainz or somebody to get at me next. Well, you know, whoever else showed up on the shop. But
I was waiting for Stephen A. Smith to make that connection.
But in the end, what it comes down to is very, very simple. This ain't bad at all, because the NBA is about the present and the future. And if LeBron James ain't a part of it for this particular moment in time, so be it. He himself said he's looking forward to the rest. Why can't we look forward to him resting and watching somebody else other than him?
I agree. I think that it may be great for all parties involved that we get a rest from LeBron James.
When Michael Jordan went away, there were plenty of stars in his absence. Great stars with big personalities, like Shaquille O'Neal.
I have to pause Max Kellerman here, because once again he's trying to make a connection or a correlation that's just not applicable. As I've already laid out, when Michael Jordan was in his prime and playing, no one was beating him. His impact was 10 times the impact of LeBron James. LeBron James is not the Michael Jordan of this era. He is the Wilt Chamberlain of this era. It's a major, major difference. Michael Jordan had all the allure and the quote-unquote swag that the media tries to apply to a LeBron James. And in addition to that, he was the ultimate winner. So his ability to captivate an audience is unmatched, and the ratings tell you that.
For example, let alone Kobe and all these different guys, it wasn't the same. The NBA took a huge hit because Michael Jordan was the guy.
Let me do my Austin Powers move right here. You do understand that you are alluding to Michael Jordan going from being a champion,
thank you, sir,
to retiring.
Yep.
Not losing the last 2 finals and then missing the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's a different
that's
scenario.
Right. That's right.
That's not the appropriate comparison.
That's right.
Absolutely. You're sharp on this one, Steve. Good job.
That's right. But Jordan on those LeBron teams, Jordan's better than LeBron. Like Rich or whoever else. I'm sorry. Jordan's the #1 player of all time. LeBron might be 2. But
no, he's not 2. But you notice now Max Kellerman is saying LeBron might be 2. Before he was saying that LeBron was 2.
But Jordan on the teams LeBron had would also have lost to the Warriors.
Bunch of bullshit. And that's a false equivalency. At the end of the day, LeBron James built his own teams. So when he lost, they lost on his watch. That's how that goes. And we cannot compare players from different eras on different teams. We have to compare what they did when they were in that moment. That's all that we can do. Michael Jordan on his team, and he had less overall talent than many of the teams that LeBron James made it to the finals with. He won. LeBron James did not win. And that's the bottom line to that.
I mean, it's an unfair. No player in the history of basketball on that Cleveland team would have beaten the Warriors. Let me say quickly, Molly, that...
Right, well, were there any other players in the history of basketball that would have won more than one game, like LeBron James won in 2017, when he had Kyrie Irving and a healthy Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson and his entire squad? Would Michael Jordan have won more than one game? Because we know that Allen Iverson was able to defeat the 2001 Lakers in one game, and most of those guys were barely NBA players.
That Harden and Giannis and all these other guys you mentioned, let me get back to Seinfeld. No, Seinfeld.
Seinfeld?
Yeah, Seinfeld. That's the show Seinfeld.
Okay.
George Costanza, Kramer, Elaine, Newman. Well, it'd still be a funny show. No. I'd still watch.
No, it wouldn't be a funny show because it was never a funny show. All that show was a platform to push the Kabbalah and as a mechanism to introduce Jerry Seinfeld to the masses, especially through that master witch, Larry David. But Max Kellerman, he's a Caucasian Jew. They thought that show was funny. That show was whack juice.
No, man.
It wouldn't be the same, would it?
No.
The star of the show's not there. The star of the show isn't here.
I will say that.
The better comparison would be that the Lakers were no longer good without LeBron James, because That's his show. The NBA is not LeBron James' show. The Lakers are LeBron James' show. So if you were going to make the comparison between Jerry Seinfeld and his show Seinfeld to LeBron James, then the Seinfeld show for LeBron James will be the Lakers, not the entire NBA. The entire NBA for Seinfeld will be like his channel, NBC.
I can relate. I can relate.
Stephen A. Smith calling himself the Seinfeld of First Take.
One question, star of the show. Is anybody thinking about why didn't LeBron and Kyrie just stay together? Come on.
You have to ask that question. We already know. Kyrie Irving could not stand living under LeBron James' shadow. And I believe that there were other personal matters that transpired between the two that necessitated in Kyrie's mind that he had to go. And on top of that, we already know, Molly Karam, if you've been paying attention, maybe you have too much makeup in your ears, but it was already stated repeatedly that LeBron James and the GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers tried to have Kyrie traded to the Phoenix Suns. That's why he was very upset, and that's why he demanded a trade himself, ended up on the Boston Celtics. When it comes to why LeBron James is in LA, that's pure Luciferianism. That's the only possible real answer. Because he damn sure did not go out there to win.
Celtics are struggling. The Lakers aren't even. Why didn't they stay together in Cleveland? It would have been better.
Everyone thinks Kyrie.
I hope that one day Stephen A. Smith wakes up with a backbone and tells Molly Karam that her job is to sit there in the middle and look cute. That's it. Nobody cares about her takes on sports. Nobody cares about hearing her shrill-ass, high-pitched voice. Your job is to sit there, be the moderator, and look cute. That's why we hired you. That's it.
Kyrie is heading to the Knicks, right? If I'm LeBron James, he has to humble himself right now. Pick up the LeBron. LeBron has to humble himself. They need each other more than they realize.
I don't think that LeBron really needs Kyrie. We've already seen that show in Cleveland. But the media is so funny. Now they're trying to push for this reunion between Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, the same union that only won one game against the Warriors in the finals back in 2017. Unless the sentiment is going to be, well, the Warriors might not have KD anymore, so that means that maybe the Lakers can beat them. At the end of the day, they've already went through that experience. It's time for Kyrie to find another place for him to spend his career, since he claims he wants to be a leader. We already see how sensitive Kyrie is to certain questions. Can you imagine the type of question that he'd be getting if he went to the Lakers and teamed up with LeBron James again? It would look like he tried to be a leader, it failed, and he just ran away with his tail tucked between his legs back to daddy. I don't think that Kyrie Irving will want to deal with that type of energy. And remember, he was the person who got upset when a reporter asked him if he looks at LeBron James like a father. Remember that? Kyrie got mad as hell when the reporter asked him that question, as he should have.
Pick up the phone and let him know. Let Kyrie know. Brother, I need you. You're going to have the keys to this franchise. You don't want to be in New York in that dysfunctional place. Come to LA. I'll bet you it works.
I don't think it would happen, but I don't mind that request, Max. That doesn't bother me.
I don't think them splitting up was necessarily the smartest basketball move. We will leave it there.
It could be Kobe and...
Well, Molly Karam, you should give that advice to many of your super liberal sisters out there, because so many of you women tell other women to just leave a man. And then y'all end up 45 years old, single, with a whole bunch of crow's feet around your eyes. Finger popping yourself every damn night, drinking a glass of wine.
Kobe and Shaq gone right.
It's been...
I doubt that LeBron James and Kyrie Irving would be Kobe and Shaq gone right. I don't see that one at all. But anyway, peace.